looks like he's going to restart the lobby, Dylan.
Welcome, Ashley. As you just sent through that information, we've just cut across live. How are you this evening? Round number 4, Ruapuna Park.
Yes, another exciting season race coming up, and unfortunately we've lost all of our drivers this time. So I think we're going to have to restart this lobby, and yeah, let's try that one more time.
So all I can say is it does look like the future of Project Cars is definitely coming to an end very quickly, specifically on Project Cars 2. Is more and more we try and keep these races going, but more and more we just seem to be finding issues. So while the guys are just going back into that lobby, let's see if we can just pick up what's happened there. So as you can see on my screen, that is completely done. So we will be getting those invites back straight away. But while we are coming back into the lobbies, actually, what I think we could possibly be doing, there's the invite from Tyler. So thank you very much, Tyler. Tyler, our host once again.
Sorry, Dylan, I'm just making some preparations here as well, so that we can just record this session and not
100%. So while you're doing that, Ashley, what I'm going to do is just bring up the current points, just so the viewers at home are able to see how close this championship is essentially getting. Is we do have Peter Brunt, he is out in front with 106 points, followed very closely by Terry Wolford in second place. Then we have Ryan 5 points behind Terry, he's in third place, with Tyler Scott in fourth. Johan VDV having internet issues, but you can just see 2 points separating himself and Tyler. But we essentially have got 11 points, and each one of those drivers are effectively fighting for third place on the total championship. We then have Colin and Dane from Dacol Racing. They're in 6th and 7th respectively. Marius, he's unfortunately not able to join us this evening, with Andrew traveling in France. Michael, he's back, and we know that his first race he did extremely well, and he'll be driving in the Ford this evening. Reeve is racing with us. Rolf, unfortunately, having similar issues with some power that Morris is experiencing. Christo's with us, as well as Stefan, and then Greg, Carl, France, and Troy. They unfortunately will not be joining us this evening.
So Dylan, I noticed Michael's points there already, 55 points in just one race under his belt. He's already made a huge impact right from the beginning here. So I'm looking forward to seeing him now this evening. He'll be driving in the Ford Escort. We know that car is slightly underpowered compared to the BMW. But I've driven the Ford around here and did some laps, and I'm quite impressed with the handling. So I think it'd just be on the straight. It's quite a long straight here, where the BMWs will have the biggest advantage.
No, and I can't agree with you anymore there. What I do know is that just the way the Ford changes direction is a lot more stable than the BMW is, and I think that's what's really going to start giving that guys that advantage. It is going to be the last two corners going into turn number one, where that BMW is going to be able to stretch its legs, and it is in that breaking point where the Ford is going to be a lot more dominant.
100%, and there's quite a few twists and turns after those, going through 3 and 4 and 5, where you definitely will have the advantage driving the Ford. So I'm looking actually forward to racing the Ford tonight, as opposed to the BMW.
Well, that's really good to hear, actually. And just in terms of your views on this track.
This is one of my favorite tracks, actually. We've driven here before. I think it was in also a BMW. I think it was the M1, if I'm not mistaken, some time back, and I really enjoyed it. And so it's one of those tracks where you just have to find a good rhythm. You have to just make sure you find the right braking points, and just keep it on the track. There are some tricky sections. If you do go off, you kind of get bewildered and because you don't really know where. There's some runoff areas, and there's some different sections of the track, and you can often get confused and end up going the wrong way if you go off at a critical a point which is closer to another section of the track.
No, look, and keep it on the black stuff. Is that was part of the driver's briefing, as well as just take it nice and easy. And the reason being is that this track is very tight, and we do see that Tyler has started the lobby in the background, so we will be able to jump in there now.
Yep, about to start qualifying. That's busy loading. We are at 25% at the moment.
So while we are loading, let's just take a look at who's joined us on the live stream. We see Peter Heidemann. So he joins us first, and unfortunately he got the dibs on that first comment for the evening. We do know that it's normally Daniel War Machine Morales that gets that, but unfortunately Peter Heidemann beating him to that. Andrew Horn, he's joined us. Daniel saying how's it to both of us. Ashley,
how's it?
Now we've got a Peter Heidemann and a Piet Heidemann. So Piet Heidemann is going slight Piet Moenie nog een stukken rainy. So I'm not sure if that's the same person just bringing in a translation, or whether it actually is two different people. Then we've got Daniel saying possibly going to PC3. Daniel, I can tell you that unfortunately is not an option for us. And the reason being is that what you're seeing right now is qualifying. And in Project Cars 3 there is no qualifying, so what we're offering in terms of a racing simulation is not offered on Project Cars 3, so we'll have to find alternative titles that will do that. Then Rudy, he's saying looks like a fun championship. Rudy, yes it is. We do know that you are racing on a Thursday, but maybe you need to come and hoy with us here as well. Andrew Horn sending a shout out to Terry, and he also mentioned that it is the braking on the Ford is awesome, so something to really look out for that. Peter, thank you so much for sorting that out. Piet Heidemann is actually Peter's dad, so welcome Piet.
And I'm just looking on the Facebook stream. We've got Stephen Smith so far, who's good day boys, race nuts, whoop whoop. And then also Clayton Lee. I think that's relatively.
Yeah, that's the closest I can get of relatives, and that's my brother.
Okay, and he says hello, Dylan.
So I generally don't call him Clayton, because through all my life as little kids we had a little altercation, and the nickname Sienki is what I've been calling him for possibly the last 37 years of his life. So to me it's Sienki, to Chase it's Uncle Sienki, and to everybody else is Clay.
Okay, Clay, well thanks for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the race.
So I see we have 10 drivers, which means that out of the original lobby that we had, we did lose one driver. Just looking down the order, so we have got well, hold on, I'm battling to see those. I just need to get the other screen. There we go. So that is Papa Whiskey in that number one spot. Then we have Michael, that's Peter Brunt, Terry, Boktor, Colin, Ryan, Reeve, Dane, and Tyler. So we are
at the moment.
So I was about to say 2 minutes left, and we don't have any lap times up. So I don't know whether the guys are feeling the nerves. They are making some mistakes, but no official lap time just yet. Yakunabe, you're saying how about some Assetto Corsa? Well, that's definitely where we will be going. We do offer that on a Sunday, but we don't do the live streaming. We still don't have the 100% correct way to stream that, but yeah, we'll go there. Oh, you're kidding me. Janneman saying that he didn't get the invite.
Oh no, that is terrible. So I'm not sure what we're going to do now, because the guys are already on there. That is most unfortunate. But at the moment, in first position, we have Peter Brandt with the time 1:33.1. That is pretty quick. And behind him, Terry Wilford with a 1:35.5. And as I say that, his Sarge is now posted in the Escort, a 1:35.4. So a good time there by Ryan. So unfortunately, we're going to have to allow the session to carry on. We'll be running out of time here, Dylan, and we'll just have to let Janneman in the next session. There is still one more session coming up this evening. So the first session, unfortunately, Janneman, you're going to have to sit out, and we do apologize profusely for that. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, Janneman will definitely get you in for that second heat. Apologies. And that is unfortunately sometimes what happens is as soon as we go up into the broadcasting box, we do lose comms with the guys in the lobby. But that is the end of qualifying, and it is Peter Brandt out in the BMW who has posted the fastest time. And we know that Janneman was the fifth driver that would have been in that Ford.
That's very, very unfortunate. But we still have the guys out on track, and they're busy still posting times here. So I wonder if we'll change see any difference at the top there. I see Michael has gone third now with a 1:34.7. So good time there in the Ford Escort. So we still have a BMW in front with a 1:32.6, followed by Dane in a BMW with a 1:34.6. Michael in third position in the Ford Escort at 1:34.7. Terry Wilford close behind, only a tenth off, and he's done a 1:34.8.
That's Sarge, Ryan. He too is in a Ford Escort.
Christopher did a 1:36, followed by Reeve and Papa Whiskey.
Yeah, that's Stefan.
Then Colin. So that's the end of qualifying.
So I do think it's going to be extremely interesting, because you can just see how mixed that lineup is. But Peter Brandt definitely 3 seconds in terms of his deficit that he has over second place. So I do think that Peter's just going to run away with this, and then it's going to be the battle of the from second down to see who essentially is going to get the rest of those points.
Yeah, that 1:31.7 is extremely quick time, and he just seems to be in a class of his own at the moment. So while we wait for the guys just to...
Dylan?
So we do have Tyler that's joined us. Yes, Tyler.
We forgot to invite Janneman. Can we return to lobby, take the qualifying out, and make the race 35 minutes? To invite Janneman.
What do you mean make the race 35 minutes? No, the race is still going to be 20 minutes.
Not 35 minutes, 15 minutes.
No, run it at 20 minutes, Tyler, that's fine. We would rather have Janneman joining in, but unfortunately we'll have to start from the back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just make note.
Okay, guys, everyone needs to retire. You'll get new invites, or just retire. You won't get new invites, just everyone retire.
So there we go, Tyler. Ashley. I'm glad that they realised that invite hadn't gone out. So we'll have to just do that rolling start. Let's just get those current positions up on our Discord. And for those who don't know, we keep talking about this Discord, but it's literally our social app that we make use of, and we use that to communicate through to all the drivers. So Tyler has confirmed that Yanaman wasn't there, so as you heard is that they're going to get everyone back in. They will do that rolling start, and then we will restart that race.
Take us out of communication, eh? We're going into another race now, I think.
I think you're going to have to do a chat lobby.
So guys, thank you so much for your patience. Just looking at some of the comments coming through while we are waiting. Peter Heidemann pushing for Terry to get up and get this done. We do have Fetty the original. He was cheering for Yanaman, so I'm glad we were able to get Yanaman back in. And yeah, he is saying that it is a little bit harsh to start from the back, but unfortunately we are on an extremely tight timeline. Remember, we do have the alpha tier starting from 9 o'clock. So Yanaman, apologies for that invite not getting through to you, but at least we do have you on the track ready for this race. So we can just see that the guys in the lobby are starting to get those green thumbs up, and once everybody is confirmed in, I see we are up to 13, so that is 13 including myself and Ashley, which means 11 drivers, so everybody will be accounted for, and we can get going straight into the race. The guys will just do a formation lap, get themselves into position, and if you just wanted to know what those positions are, we can just touch on them quickly. So in a first place will be Peter Brandt, second is Dane, third is Michael, Terry is in fourth place, Ryan is fifth, Boktor is sixth, Reeve is seventh, Stefan is eighth, Colin is ninth, Tyler is 10th, and Yanaman will start off in 11th place. So there's the countdown. We will be racing shortly.
Dylan, just want to share with the viewers a little bit of a history of this track. I think the first race was hosted in 1963, if I'm not mistaken, and often referred to, it's actually the Mike Pero Motorsport Park, often referred as Ruapuna. It's a permanent motor racing circuit owned by and operated by the Canterbury Car Club Incorporation, on land leased from the Christchurch City Council. It is located in Temperton, and that, as you know, is in Christchurch, New Zealand. This track 3.38 kilometers. So on average, not the longest track, but with the average time around here, I think we're going to see 132s, 133s. So a relatively quick race for these class of vehicles.
So thanks so much for that information. All I know is that every time we've come and raced here, the weather has always been pretty cold, and we've always battled to get heat into those tires. Is that the case now that we have our weather setting to spring?
We're not going to see any rain in this evening. We might get a bit of clouded over, a bit overcast, and that will cause the tractors to cool down a bit. So it will open up the race and make it a little bit interesting towards the end.
Yeah, because we did know when we were at Dubai, those BMWs, they started getting a bit of overheating issues in the tires, and that was when the Fords were able to really come back and push nice and hard. But it doesn't look like the tire heat here for the BMWs is going to be an issue this evening.
That's right.
So I just need to put out a official apologies to Christo for last week. Is I did mention that he had gone back and was part of an incident. Meanwhile, it wasn't him. So Christo, apologies. And unfortunately, while we have the live event going on, that sometimes we do get our facts just mixed up when we start seeing things that are out of the norm. Sometimes we do a little bit of a wide exit there for Terry. But yeah, we are now approaching into the last corner, and Peter Brandt will hold them back ever so slightly just to make sure that everybody is nice and in sequence. So Peter Brandt will be giving the guys the countdown, and we'll just wait for those revs to change. And there we go. So we are now officially racing round number 4 at Ruapuna Park in our vintage touring car series. This is the Ford versus the BMW, and so far everyone is nice and tidy into turn number 2. This is a reverse camber, as we say, no issues, but it looked like there was 2 drivers that had touched. But now we do have Reeve that's dropped down. Colin is down in 10th place. There's Reeve stuck on the side of the track. Back to the front, and Peter Brandt, he's opening his lead, and we have Dane who was further down the field. He's now up into 2nd place with Michael in 3rd, Terry in 4th place.
Yeah, so good start there by Dane. He obviously had the power on the straights and managed to get past those guys in the Ford Escort. So let's see if he can keep up with Peter Brandt up in front. So far, Peter Brandt has opened up a 1.5 second gap, and he's doing pretty well so far, keeping it nice and tidy. So we see Dane getting a little slightly sideways there, and a little further back, a battle of the Fords here. We have Michael, who's got ahead of, well, he was starting 3rd position, so he's managed to maintain that position. And just behind him, he's following Terry Wilford in car number 20, and his teammate right behind him, car number 19. Whoa! And that's Ryan, and it goes a bit wide.
Terry getting that rear very sideways. So now what's going to happen is that there goes Boxer. It's just exactly what I thought, is that Boxer in the BMW would have got the drive coming out of the last corner, and he's been able to move himself up the order. I also see that Reeve is still stuck on the inside there.
Maybe he's just decided to watch this race from his car rather, or if he's got some internet issues as well, and he's actually disconnected. But back up front here, we have a good battle here between Sarge and is that Michael?
Oh. Sorry, Boxer's just dropped down to 6th place. You can see, sorry, actually, Boxer was dropped down to 6th, which means Terry's moved himself back up to 4th. So it might have been a little mistake there for him.
Yeah, I think these BMWs through the tight sections are very tricky. So much power, the rear just seems to get the better of you, and then you just swing that car around. As you can see, he's struggling a bit, trying to get the power down. But much better through that section. And will you see now the power of the BMW just reeling in those forwards just ahead of him. But Terry doing well after that little mistake on the first lap. He's now catching the guys ahead of him.
Yeah, I must just apologize to Dane. Dane started in second place and he was able to keep that spot going into the first corners through turns 1 and 2. And there we still see Reeve on the side, but I don't see any brake lights on, so that car I think has disconnected.
So it's a good battle between Sarge and Michael at the moment.
So if we can just jump back down there, jump to 7th place there, please. What on earth is going on here?
Bit of carnage.
Because I was just looking, is that that little gap, there was about half a second between 7th, 8th and 9th, because it was Papa Whiskey who was in 7th place, and we had him chasing down Yanaman. But now through that incident, Yanaman has got himself up into 7th place, so he should be able to start closing up that 5 seconds and start getting himself closer into the top. Just remember, the top 6 drivers will have a reverse grid for the second race, which definitely has been mixing things up.
Some serious damage there on Tyler's vehicle. You can see he's really battling now. But we go back to the front, and Peter Brunt, in a class of his own, he's really opened up a 6-second lead to second place Dane, with a time of 1:32 on that last lap, a full 2 seconds quicker than Dane. And followed in third place. We still have the battle between a good battle.
Whoa.
Between Michael. Wow.
Michael, Sarge and Terry. Oh, a little dive to the inside there. Ooh, a little rub there by Sarge. But I do think that was. I suppose we'd have to just look at it in detail. But it looked like he just leaned on him just a little bit. Michael just opening that gap ever so slightly. And Sarge taking full advantage of that. Absolutely.
But nevertheless, Michael kept it, gave Sarge enough space there, and saw that he was coming down and let him go past, and they managed to avoid a collision there. But look at Terry. Oh, wow. Go through that corner there, Michael, on 3 wheels. And it's allowed for Terry to join the back of this battle.
So I must say that since Sarge has got his wheel, he is an absolute new driver. And you can see him now starting to open up a gap between himself and Michael. And now Terry latching on the rear of Michael's 11. Terry going around the outside through turn number 1 and on the brakes into turn number 2. That's going to be extremely interesting. How on earth did he not touch him there? That was pretty impressive. Well done there, Terry. But now a little delay on getting that power on the exit, which leaves Michael right up behind him once again. You can see just a little touch of that curb on the inside and how that car just is unsettled ever so slightly. Terry going a little bit defensive, not allowing Michael to sneak in there. Oh, there goes Terry losing the rear. That's going to push him wide, which is going to allow Michael to come back. And there in the background, that is a Boktor. I'm sure he's going to be looking at this battle in front of him. You can see that he had 5 seconds between those guys. That is now down to just under 3 seconds. So in the next couple of minutes, we should have the likes of Boktor in his BMW start challenging these Fords.
Yeah, he'll definitely be watching this and be quite eager to join the battle. Terry just needs to settle down now and keep it on the black stuff. So because he just seems to be making a little too many mistakes here and there, and that's dropped him back now to 5th position. He was way up there. He was right up into 4th and challenging for 3rd, and just a little lack of concentration, and unfortunately he's dropped back down again. But a good lap there by Sarge doing a 1:35.3, and only less than a second off the Dane in the 2nd position at the moment. 5.3, and
so I was
we're
just
right on board with Terry, and you can see him goes flying through. Is that corner number 5, and then heading down to this. If you could just
sorry,
help
actually,
me there, Dylan,
I was just jumping onto the Facebook page. Just wanted to see whether we had Reeve. I know that's normally where he'd watch the stream, just to see whether he would be able to give us some info as to what had happened there. But that corner, yes, that was turn number 5. But now the cars are jumping backwards and forwards. A look to the inside. Terry on Michael, you have the inside now going into turn number 8. This is Jeff's corner. You're going to be side by side. You can see Michael, the faster, safer line on the outside. And that allowed Michael to go through, because Terry's line would have been a little bit compromised in terms of that straight line speed. And there's Boktor in the back, starting to close these guys down even more. That gap is still on 3 seconds, so while he's there, he's not making lots and lots of head road. But we are going to definitely keep our eye on there. But this is Terry now going to the inside on Michael. He'll have the inside through turn number 1. And it's going to be the battle of the brakes here into turn 2. You can see how tricky this braking zone is. As Michael and Terry, they touch going into the braking zone. There goes Michael, a little spin off. Come on, cameraman Tim. We need to be looking at the drivers. So that means Boktor, he's now up into 5th. And there goes Janneman. He's up into 6th place.
Wow, it just shows you how easily things can go wrong in these little cars. They don't have the sophistication of the newer vehicles. They don't have traction control, ABS, or any of those things. Unfortunately, if you put it on the grass, that's it. There's nothing to assist you there. And that's exactly what happened. The guys came too close together, and I think one of the guys put the tyre on the grass there. Ooh, Yana man, just going a bit wide there and doing a bit of farming. But he's managed to get back on the track. So yeah, we have Christopher.
That's Christo.
Up in 5th position now. He's chasing Terry. Christo, sorry.
So, yes, Stephen, we can't wait to see what happens in the Alpha tier. This is an extremely interesting track. And I am seeing some time penalties coming up for Michael, Tyler, as well as Colin. So 1 second for Michael, 1 second for Tyler, 2 seconds for Colin. So not too bad. And generally coming out of turn number 9, you run a little bit wide there. And that's possibly where the majority of those guys will get that time penalty. I know for myself that's generally where I do get mine. And Michael now starting to harass the rear of Janneman, and now into turn number 2.
So good side-by-side racing here. Michael goes slightly wide there onto the grass. That's not going to help his efforts here. And you see in the background, Tyler is now applying putting some gas. His last time with 1:35.2, so he's much quicker than the guys in front of him. And he'll be joining this battle, I'm sure, pretty soon.
So I'm a little bit confused here, because I see that Michael's just put a message up on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel, saying that I'm glitched. But here we see him driving. So Michael, is that not you driving? I'm so confused. What's going on here?
That may be a delayed message, but unless he's able to
No, I've just seen it come up now.
Well, you do have that Google Translate app that you can possibly talk in it. And it's,
well played. So I suppose the reason he's not typing now is because he is looking quite intently at the rear of that red Ford. And in the background there, oh my goodness, is Tyler Scott going to be able to come and break these guys' spirits and get that BMW in the mix now?
Yeah, he was a full 2 seconds quicker on that last lap than Janneman, who did a 136 flat. So, and then Michael, who made that little mistake, it was a 138. But he can see now these guys ahead of him that are battling, and he'll be very keen to join this battle for sixth position, should I say.
With 3.5 minutes left, that means we'll have possibly 3 laps. Michael is going to need to get a move on, or else Tyler is definitely going to be catching him. As we see, that was there we go. You can see side by side, Michael now on the inside, with him going to go through Jeff's corner. Michael just allows him to go through. And it is a nose to bumper as they exit out of turn number 9. We are on board with Tyler Scott. Now into the last corner, it'll look to the inside. Michael decides not to stick that nose in. But you can see how close these guys are. 3 minutes left. And you can see wipers are going, so that is the sign of wheels being thrown left and right, touching buttons where we shouldn't.
Translating when you shouldn't either.
So Andrew has said, he has a loving girlfriend who's typing for him. Now that's another very interesting avenue there, Andrew. Another one for the what ifs.
It's teamwork. I wish my girlfriend would type for me when I'm driving. She just makes me tea and coffee, brings me biscuits. So
Michael is wide out of the chicane at turn number 4. And that's going to allow Tyler to close up ever so slightly. Now through turns 5, turn 6. And this turn number 8, it's known as the Crown Lift Carousel. And it definitely is a very interesting corner, is that you have an initial turn-in phase. Tyler throwing that car through. You can see how those rear tyres now that's going to be a slowdown penalty for Michael if he's not cautious. Tyler throwing that car in through Jeff's corner, turn number 8. So 1 minute and 15 at the beep to go of this race. And it is Peter Brunt who 20 seconds ahead. And I'm pretty sure that is alpha tier pace right there.
Yes, I think he's definitely in a different league altogether, and it's just showing that his pace has just increased, and he's just got better over the last races, and he's just showing us, pretty much showing off tonight what he possibly could do in a quicker vehicle. A full 21 seconds ahead of Dane in second position at the moment. So with 35 seconds left on the clock, I think he will do just one more lap after he completes lap number 12 here.
So that is correct. So this will be the final lap here of Heat 1 of our Bravo tier, side by side, Tyler and Michael. And Michael was able to hang on to that. Doesn't want to be staying at the back there, and it looks like Tyler will have a little run on him. Let's see, going into turn number 8, will he have a look? No, he just shows the nose. But now Tyler will have the advantage coming down the Dunlop straight, and that's all going to be whether Michael is able to secure that inside line. But you can just see, here comes the BMW. Tyler will go to the inside here. He won't be able to defend. So unfortunately, that now drops Michael down into 8th place. And Tyler will now have the straight line speed and will hold that lead, and that will extend his... No, Michael, what are you doing? There's still one more lap to go. I hope he's not deciding to roll the car.
I think he did. Sorry, I'm just cutting back here to Terry and Sarge, and these two are having still an epic battle out, and that's fighting for the final podium spot. Sarge looks like he does have a penalty, and I just want to check a 2-second penalty. So all that Terry has to do is just keep within 2 seconds of him, and he will get that podium.
Okay, so that is the race complete. And Peter Brandt, he crosses the line and wins here, heat number 1. Remember, we still have one more heat to go. The guys will be starting, the top 6 will be a reverse grid. So while they are crossing line, we are taking note of who is where. Dane extremely happy with that 2nd place, and it looks like that Terry will come home in that 3rd place. So as Sarge crosses the line,
picking up a penalty there.
There's the confirmation right there. You can see Terry, he finishes off in 3rd place with Ryan in 4th. Then we have Borgtor. He's now been able to hang on to that position in 5th place, with Janneman starting down in last place. Fought his way through a little incident going through turn number 4. And that's allowed him to take advantage of that and move up. Now it's going to be between Tyler, Michael and Colin. What do those time penalties say?
So Michael ended up getting a 4-second penalty there. That's... very unfortunate, but that is, as he mentioned on the stream, he did have some sort of glitched.
And there we see that confirmation of Reeve disconnecting. We just hope that the guys are able to get him back in for that last race.
I want to save the replay, please. Save. Saving.
So that is heat number 1 done and dusted. We'll just have to get going quite quickly because we are running about 7 minutes late with some challenges we had with getting the Bravo tier up and running. Tyler, if you can please just push the button and we can move on.
Hello.
So now we'll have the guys going into the chat party just for the start of the 2nd heat, so that everything is good to go. We will just need to invite Reeve back. Unfortunately, he disconnected. Go see Peter Brandt has put his thumbs up. So So I'm sure that will be the sign of the rest of the drivers to do so. And there we go, we start seeing those green lights going. So we will be moving on to the second heat here in the Bravo tier. Just keep in mind that we will be having the Alpha tier that will be following directly after this.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm looking forward to that race. I think it's going to be a close battle up front again. We saw last week with the Fords managed to hold off the BMWs and do pretty well. And I'm hoping the same will happen. Yeah, I'm actually crossing fingers that the same will happen here this evening.
So actually, I just wanted to know, do you know that they invited Reeve back into the lobby?
I think I did see him, yes.
Because I'm just checking up on the Facebook feed, and Reeve was saying that he wasn't disconnected, he retired because of the driver hitting him behind him. But Reeve, don't worry, we do have that replay, and we will be having a look just to see what had happened there. So I only see 10 drivers currently on the track, which means that, just looking down the order there, that Reeve is not with us.
I think he may have chosen not to join us.
So we will be starting. The guys are currently not in position, but when they get going, just remember that those top 6 do have a reverse grid. So starting in front now will be a Yanneman. Second place will be a Boktor. Third place. Third place will be Ryan. Fourth is Terry. Dane is second. Peter Brunt. Dane is second. Fourth place is Terry. Dane is fifth. Peter Brunt is in 6th place. Then we'll have Tyler, Michael, Colin, and then Stefan. So guys will just be getting their setup, or whether it's the loose or the stable, and we will be starting off. The guys will move over to the left hand side to allow the drivers to pass them on the right hand side, get into position, and then we will be racing. Just quickly checking up on YouTube, Andrew Horn saying a shout out to Joe. So Joe, I hope you are watching. Thank you very much for joining us. Connor's cheering for those Fords. You know, Connor, you should actually be racing, eh? Hashtag just saying.
Is that Connor?
Connor. Your teammate
Yugi's
Connor.
finest.
Yugi's finest, yeah. Yeah, Connor, while you're up in the stream, just let us know how the discussion went for your Thursday night race between yourself and Craig. We definitely want to know what the team discussion was after that. Then Brandon DeSantos saying that Brandon DeSantos saying that those are definitely alpha times. Fetty the original, you're saying good race, nice Yanneman 11-6, but now Fetty that he will be starting in first place, so that's going to be interesting. But now I'm so confused.
No. I think Papa Whiskey is okay. He was just stretching the pack a bit there, but he should be starting at right at the back. I'm not too sure why he's decided now that he's going to start in first. But I hope the guys can communicate with him.
Yeah, because just looking at the starting lineup, we should have Yanneman out in front, and we're seeing Yanneman down in 7th place. So they definitely, oh, here he comes. You can see him starting to move up the order now. And we do.
These guys are leaving it pretty late to getting to order.
No, it looks like Papa Whiskey keeps moving to the front, because I saw that Yanaman went into the front. Because if I look at it, it's going Yanaman, Christo, Ryan, Terry, Dane, Peter. So that is correct, but we do have Papa Whiskey, who's currently out of position. Well, all I can say is it is what it is, and let's see what happens. Okay, so very unconventional start there, but I'm sure the guys are communicating in the chat party, so I'm sure we'll figure it out as we now go into turn number 2. That's turn number 2 in the braking zone. Ooh, a little side-by-side between Peter Brandt and Boktor, just leaning on each other there, but now we are safely through the corners. Oh, I saw a little touch of 2 Fords at the back, and there goes Colin and Yanaman dropping down the order side by side. Great move there for Peter Brandt, and that's Sarge being tagged there by Terry going into the hairpin.
So you see Terry there obviously picking up that he's made a mistake and allowing for Sarge to catch up again. And I think Sarge just said, go ahead Terry.
I think he wants to return the favor possibly. But let's have a look. Out in front is Peter Brandt. Then it is Stefan in second place. Michael in third. Then Christo in 4th place. And Tyler Scott in 5th. With Dane in 6th place. And I'm sure Dane's going to start his attack.
So obviously Boktor getting it all sideways around that. Is it corner number 9? Coming into the last corner here, and he's got Tyler pushing a little bit wide there. Tyler's now got passed into 4th position, and these guys having an epic battle out here for 4th, 5th and 6th position.
Just jump there to 2nd place, because it looked like we have Michael, he's challenging for that 2nd place now, and it was just because Stefan had the faster straight line speed. Whoa. That Michael was forced to move back down into 3rd place. But I think this is where the pressure will come with Tyler very aggressive out the back there. Oh, sound like
see now that Michael will be able to apply the pressure now, having a much better drive through these tighter corners. He's able to apply the brakes better. Papa Whiskey actually doing pretty well.
So just looking at his lap time there off the start, a 1:41.2. Well, there's Boktor getting himself a time penalty. I don't think it would be an expensive one. It might just be that 1 second. Well, side by side there for Boktor, and that's Dane, who's now moved himself up, taking advantage of it looked like a very, very tricky exit there for Boktor. And now Dane up into 5th place. So Dane's going to be looking down the line here, seeing that he's got Tyler, Michael and Stefan in front of him.
See that Terry is giving that position back, and Ryan is now up into 7th position, and you can see now that he's slowly closing that gap, although that last lap, yes, he did a 1:34, and then Christo ahead of him with a 1:37.1, 1:39.
Yeah, I think Christo is trying to use some of those curbs. You can see that he used the curb, and that just unsettled the car there. Tyler, great line there for him, going through that kink. It is extremely fast going through turn number 4, and it is not called the pot off for nothing. If you run yourself a little bit wide, there's a little dip there, and that definitely unstabilizes the car, and guess what? You're definitely going off there.
Yep. But now closing on this battle for 2nd position, I would say, as Michael's still trying to get past Papa Whiskey there in 2nd position, and that's allowed for Tyler now to close up behind this battle going on here.
And I wouldn't discredit Dane. You'll see Dane coming around the turn number 9 now. So he's also going to get up into this battle with Tyler having a very late dive into the corner. Oh, that was Stefan just touching the inside curb, going a lot slower through there. And you see both Michael and Tyler going around the outside. But here comes Tyler flying past Michael quite easily down that main straight. But now on the brakes we can see how Stefan sliding that car into turn number 2. It is such a tricky corner because you go through turn number 1, but you should be on the brakes before turn number 1. So you definitely are sliding that car into position for turn number 2. And in the background there, Dane now starting to close up on this group. You can see Dane 1:34.0, so he's the fastest out of these 4 so far. And Michael 1:35.1.
The time on that last lap was almost the same 1:34 dead. So this battle going on pretty nicely now. As we see Michael struggling with the front end there. You can see it sliding and pushing so hard through that section there.
You can just see how controlled that Ford is through there, man. It is absolutely fantastic to see. But this is where the BMW
getting a bit sideways, but still keeping the momentum.
Well, Dane, have a look to the inside. He has a show, but doesn't commit to the move. But now at least Stefan knows that Dane is going to be putting on a lot more pressure. You can see Dane got a much better exit there because now he'll be able to move to the inside, possibly take the line into turn number 1. Just hope that Stefan is able to see him as Dane decides rather to come out of that attack, and that car just squirreling on the brakes there for Stefan as he goes into turn number 2.
To Michael now having to do all that hard work again. It was Stefan in the background goes off and does well to control that car, not spinning around. But now Dane up into 4th position, and that's just made it a little bit easier for him. He's going to now have Michael in his sights now. And you can see Michael is attacking Tyler up in front.
And all that we would want is just possibly like 20 horsepower more in this little Ford. And I promise you, I think that the cars would be a lot more evenly balanced. Because you can see now through the twisty stuff how Michael is able to just close up. But then all that hard work is essentially just erased, specifically here through the Dunlop Straight. Then around the rock sweeper is the BMW just starts pushing away even further.
You can see Michael had a good pace through that corner, but he's going to try and tuck behind the BMW and just slightly mistimes it, and those two nearly coming together. Thank goodness they didn't
I must say that
too badly, otherwise they both would have gone off.
The driver in Michael's cockpit looks like he's on a Sunday drive. He's got his head cocked down forward, one hand up on the steering wheel, and looks like he's having a Sunday drive. I can assure you that is not what is happening inside or behind that his wheel at the moment. Mistake there by Tyler. So that is now Tyler down to 4th place, and Michael are now up into 2nd with Dane all over the back of Michael now.
Yep. So a bit of too much pressure there, and Michael kept applying it, and that's forced Tyler into a mistake there. Will this give that advantage now to Michael, because now you'll see in the background that Dane and Tyler will start fighting amongst each other. And that will slow them down, essentially, and allow for Michael maybe just to pull away from this pack, and already he's opened up a bit of a lead between those two drivers.
So actually, can we just jump down to 6th place, please? Because I see that we've got Stefan, Sarge, and Boxall. They're now having their own little battle there. So there's Stefan in the front. Time penalties. Michael has 1 second. Boxall has 1 second, and Terry 2 seconds for him.
I think that was just that little incident with that unfortunate incident that he had Ryan. Might have just got penalised for that.
So 7.5 minutes left of this race, and we will be going into the Alpha tier. As soon as this race is done, we did have some difficulties. Tyler having a little look to the inside through the chicane, and you can see that they are now closing back up on Michael. Not what he wanted to see, 2 BMWs chasing him down. With 7 minutes to go, they'll now go through turns number 6 now into turn number 7, and I've always battled to get this corner right because it's nice and tight, and then it kind of opens up on you, but you got to just make sure that your exit speed is nice and controlled, otherwise that rear lets go. As soon as you come off that curb, that's going to be 3 wide.
Yes! Doesn't work, guys. Yes. So unfortunately, Tyler making contact there with Dane, but there's still 6 minutes left on the clock, so Dane could possibly pull this one back. He just needs to hang in there, keep his head down, and there's still enough time to get past.
So just remember, guys, this is the battle. This is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. 6 minutes to go.
Yep.
But I just hope that these guys, they are able to control that adrenaline, because I know it is absolutely flowing now. Well, Tyler's going to have a look to the inside. I just hope he doesn't touch. Just misses. Well, Dane runs himself a little bit wide going through turn number 3. And this is where the Ford is a lot better on those brakes, as well as is able to ride the curb there.
Yeah, this is a section where Michael can just make up some time there and try open a bit of a gap there between the guys behind him. And this will also allow for Dane to try and close that gap. See Tyler goes slightly wide there.
So just remember, Michael does have a time penalty. So the wise thing for Tyler to do here would be to try and not make too much of a mistake, to essentially make contact with Michael. He just needs to stay ahead of Dane, and he can secure that 2nd spot on the grid.
We could even try back up, Tyler into Dane. Whoa, that was most unfortunate. And I think Tyler been a little bit too aggressive there, and those two coming together. But will we see Michael fighting back for that position? As you see, Tyler goes defensive, locks up the brakes there
by Tyler. So Michael should be able to get this power on. A little kick of the rear there for Michael, so not able to recover that place. And all that's happened is that now Dane moved himself up, and he's now going to put himself right into this battle as well. Tyler's wide. That's going to allow Michael to go into the inside. Will he hold that line? Tyler, don't cut him off. Yo, very close. But that is Tyler now wide on the grass through turn number 8. Michael around the outside through turn number 9. And take that, Tyler, because I'm sure is what Michael was saying. But now into the last corner, Michael needs to be very careful. He needs to make sure that he gets the power on, doesn't lose that rear, and puts himself in gives himself every opportunity to try and win this drag race down into turns number 1 and 2. He's going to go defensive. Tyler looks a bit confused, just about rubbing on the back of Michael, because I think that Michael made his intentions clear that he was going to go and hold that inside line. But that's now Tyler running wide. Dane is still there waiting to pounce.
I think that's exactly what he needs to do. Just keep defensive line. Almost has to back.
Dane completely wide there.
I'll say that. Yeah, Dane pushed a little bit too hard there. But if Michael could just hang on here, but it's still, unfortunately, he has that 2-second penalty, or 1 second penalty, should I say. I just want to jump down here to Papa Whiskey, and we've got, is that Ryan, who's managed to get past him now into 5th position. So a good race by Ryan, even after that little spin and a contact in the early stages, has managed to get his way back into 5th position and ahead of Papa Whiskey here. Back to the action up in front for 2nd position. We have Tyler looking on the inside on the final corner, and he's now getting the slipstream of that Michael, and Michael unfortunately is sitting duck there, had nowhere, could not do a thing as Tyler just powered his way past, but it goes slightly wide, hits the grass, and lucky enough he doesn't spin the car around.
So now will Michael get that flick here through the pothole, then dive on the inside here into turn number 4? Not close enough just yet, but there is still time for him to fight back. You can see how good that how good that Ford is. Oh, a little touch there between himself and Dane, but I think that was the car a little bit out of control there. But now that's going to release Tyler into 2nd place.
Yeah, I think with only a couple of seconds left on the clock there, that's going to allow Tyler now to open that gap between himself and Michael. And all that Dane has to do is just basically have to stick behind Michael to get that final podium position. But you're not going to do that, Dane, if you're going to go wide and take out the coats. Just want to shoot out in front. So Peter Brunt's having a race all by himself here with nobody troubling him at all in a class of his own. On that last lap of 131.9, so he is still flying. A full 22 seconds ahead of 2nd place driver at the moment.
Well, I know Peter, we were joking to say at the end, because Peter Brunt did go into the BMW after having driven the Ford 3 weeks in a row. I'm sure he was just relishing in getting some of this BM power under his belt. But now, Peter, you're back to the Ford.
Yeah. Yep. And enjoy your last couple of races in the Bravos here, because next season,
without a doubt,
you're going to the Alpha-Tiers. So we see Peter coming through the last corner, and he'll start come to finish the race. And a well-deserved victory there for Peter, who finishes way ahead of
absolute class of his own this evening.
But Michael not giving up, and he's still pushing for that podium. And I just want to jump to Michael, and I see
he's got 2 seconds over Dane.
He's 2 seconds behind.
Oh, it's going to be so close when they cross the line, I can tell you that much. Let's see if Dane crosses the line. So Dane crosses the line, and Michael has been able to hang on to that third place. So that is an absolute incredible effort there for Michael. He has managed to get that podium just over Dane. But man, oh man, what a shoulders out, rubbing his racing kind of race we've just seen now.
See, Papa Whiskey managed to get ahead of Ryan there, so not sure what happened there, because Sarge on that last lap, 143.6. And Yanneman finishes in 8th position, followed by Terry in 9th. And Colin coming around the final corner. Looks like he's checking out his mirrors. Maybe he's waiting for the leader to lap him out, not sure. Interesting pose for that driver. So there you have it. Peter Bryant in first position in a class of his own with a 131.9 best lap there, followed by Tyler Scott, a good effort by him, starting way back in the field and managed to be finishing up in 2nd position. Then an epic battle by Michael in 3rd position, and managed to keep in that podium over Dane, who was catching him. Dane in 4th position, Papa Whiskey in 5th, in Sarge in 6th, and in 7th position we have Christo, 8th position Yanneman, and 9th Terry, 10th Colin.
And then actually, just so we can have Pierre Brunt, Tyler and Dane are the top 3 for the drivers' interviews for this evening. So guys, that concludes the Bravo tier. We are now going to be moving on to the Alpha tier.
So guys, we get Peter, Dane, Michael in the Discord,
Tyler,
please.
yeah. Peter, Tyler, Dane, Michael.
And Tyler as well. So it's Peter, Dane, Michael, and Tyler, please.
Thank you.
I'm here, Dad. I'm on the thing.
Alright guys, you are currently live. Man oh man, what an absolutely crazy race this evening. Let's start off with you, Michael. Racing with the elbows out. An extremely tough race there for you. Trying to match up with the Fords, with the BMWs. You're in the Ford. A tough evening for you?
Yeah, different. I don't know. I must have done something wrong in first race because my ratios were shorter and I was driving like an ass. And then I was disciplined between races and I had a lovely dice with the lads around me, and well done to them. They drove better than me, so well done.
No, 100%. An absolutely fantastic battle that you had there with Tyler, specifically in that second race. Let's just go to you, Tyler. A few moves, quite aggressive into some of those overtakes, leaning up against some of the drivers, but all in all, little bump here and there, but no untowardness, but a good result there for you.
Yeah, Dylan, it's a bit difficult with two different makes of cars, so rubbing is racing. As long as we're not taking each other out, and there was a move or two that I made, and the one I even said to Michael, I lost it into turn 1 and I tapped him and I said to him, he needs to come past, because I just didn't feel it was right. So, yeah, but you had to use the speed of the BM when the Fords were quicker with the handling.
No, 100%. Well, Tyler, it was still some very, very interesting racing, that's for sure. And then Dane, second for you overall for the evening. Tough work there in the BMW this evening?
Our first race was quiet. By my own, some there in second.
Kind of stuck in second place there, yeah.
Just doing my own thing. Yeah, the second race was a bit more, hair raising, especially when you have Tyler using you as a turning barrier. So, yeah, it was a bit of a tough race and a bit sweaty after that second one.
No, 100% great effort there for you. And then Peter, back to the Ford for you for next week.
Yeah, unfortunately. I enjoyed the power of the BMW.
I can only imagine. A double win for you, but an absolute supreme class there. A 31.9 was the fastest lap that we tracked there for you. That's Alpha tier pace right there.
I'm happy with the Bravo tiers. You can leave me here.
No one can catch you.
Yeah, well, next time on the Ford, let's see. Maybe I'm lucky, maybe I'm not lucky. I don't even know what track is next, but we'll see. I enjoy the Ford a lot.
No, 100%. Well, I can't remember the track offhand for next week, but I definitely will mention it as we get closer to the end. So I do see that the guys in the Alpha tier are just about ready. Those thumbs are starting to go up. Tyler, not sure if you're joining me in the directing for the Alpha tier. But to the Bravo tier guys, thank you so much, and we hope to see you on the stream.
Thank you guys. Well done to the winner.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Bye.
Cool. Thanks guys. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
So guys, we are just waiting for the Alpha tier. You can see just some thumbs waiting to go up. And then just the invite through to Tyler, please, for the director. Okay, there we go guys, all those green thumbs are up, so we will be going into the 5-minute qualifying now here for the Alpha tier here in our vintage touring cars. Absolutely fantastic racing we can expect. Just remember that the top 5 from last week's race will be in the Ford, and we've seen how good the Ford is through the twisty stuff, but it is on the straight, specifically before the last corner as well as on the start finish line. The BMWs definitely have an advantage there. So while we're waiting for the track to load up, we can take a look at the current championship position points. And Jake's out in front. You can see 2 drivers tied, both on 112 points, and that's between Jake's and Dirkie. Gerard 1 point behind those two on 111 points. Then Christopher not racing this evening. He's 7 points behind the likes of Gerard. Then we have Ashley, who's 12 points off Christopher. So a total of 20 points between first and fifth place. So it is going to be an absolute cracker. Then coming up in sixth place is Andrew Horn. Marshall is seventh. Peter, and that's Sly Pete, in eighth place. And that is Peter Haderman and not Pete Haderman. We've understood that Pete Haderman is the dad. So thank you very much for clearing that up. Robert, he's in ninth place with Maljak in 10th. And we are expecting him to be pretty quick here. Brandon Dos Santos is in 11th. Marius, unfortunately, having to withdraw due to his wheel giving him issues. Well, his PlayStation, in fact, not his wheel. The wheel was deemed to be fine. Just something happening there with the connection. Alex is unfortunately out, as well as Theo, Alessio, and Stephen. We do have Stephen racing this evening. So if we remember back, the fastest time that we saw from Peter Brunt was a 1:31.9. And looking at the times now, we will be able to just get an idea of what sort of times that the guys here in the Alpha tier are capable of doing. So the guys now crossing the start-finish line for their out lap, and we have a driver off in the background. They're going into turn number 1. Not too sure who that was. Sorry, that's turn number 2. But we're currently on board with Jakes Fatikaki, the current championship point leader, and Dirkie. I suppose they're both tied on the championship. The only reason why Jakes was up on top is because his last result was the higher of the two. So technically that does put him in first place. So 2.5 minutes of qualifying left here for the Alpha tier heat number 1. We will have a reverse grid once again for the second heat, and the top 6 reverse gear, listen to me, reverse grid. So guys, if you're on the stream, we do love hearing from you. Send the comments. Who are you supporting for the racing this evening? If you'd like to send a shout out, let us know. We definitely will send a shout out for you over the stream. So currently in shot is Andrew Horn. Still no time set by any of the drivers, but there we go. Jakes 1:33.8. 1:33.8 for Jakes. That's it. Close. 1:33.2. Apologies. That's the way that time went up. Confused me a little bit. 1:32.8 and 1:32.8 for Maljak and Dirkie. Stephen 1:33 dead. Marshall 1:33.1. Then Jakes 1:33.2 for him. 1:33.5. So the top 8 positions are so far separated by 0.9 of a second. That is how close this Alpha tier is, and I'm sure the guys that was Dirkie just getting out of the way, allowing Maljak to go through. Maljak currently in a second place, and I think that with Dirkie making that mistake coming out of the hairpin, he's just freed up Maljak to see whether he can improve on his time. It is Andrew Horn who's currently quicker so far, 1:32.7, and 0.1 of a second ahead of Maljak. So we have 7 seconds left of this heat. We see Gerard down in 7th place. He won't be going any quicker. Let's watch the timing as Maljak goes past. He does not improve, but that is Andrew Horn, who's currently the quickest on a 1, not the quickest. Robert Stoltz is the quickest on a 1:32 flat, with Sly Pete is the second quickest, 132.9, and the Horn Dog third place, 132.7. He improves at 132.1, and that puts him in a second place. So talk about a mix-up in terms of the timings. The top 5 positions are all in the BMW. Then we have Dirkie in 6th place. Stephen is in 7th. Marshall in 8th. He's in a BMW. Then Jakes and Gerard down in 9th and 10th place respectively. And in 11th place is Ashley, not being able to get a lap in. So we're just waiting for the lobby host just to push the button so that we can get racing. There we go. So this is heat number 1 of the Alpha tier. So if you have just joined us, we've had 2 heats of racing so far. This is the Alpha tier now. So this, we are just waiting for each of the drivers to sync. And I see Robert and Andrew Horn both driving in the same livery. But that is a start. And Andrew Horn's got an absolute crack of a start coming off the line there. As well as Brandon DeSantos. He's now up into 2nd place. But they're 3 wide now, going into turn number 1. The guys must just be aware that this corner tightens up on you, and now on the brakes into turn 2. Little bit of a touching here and there, but everyone is still on the track. Andrew Horn is away with Brandon DeSantos in 2nd place. Robert Stoltz is in 3rd. Marshall in 4th. Having a little look on the inside of Robert. A little bit of congestion into turn number 3 there. And then Stephen, he's up into 5th place, having started 7th. Little look to the inside there for Dirkie. Jakes is trading places between him and Pete. So I think they are side by side. You can see trying to find position on the track there a little bit further down. So Dirkie, he's now up into 6th place. So he's managed to take advantage of that. And Pete, he was way up in front there. Here unfortunately down into 7th place. So that was Stephen running a little bit wide. He caught some of that dirt. Tyler, if we could just drop down to about 7th place here for us. I just want to catch this long train from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th place. And you can see Dirkie in the red Ford moving himself onto the inside, but this is where Marshall will be able to get his own back, and both him and Pete go flying past Dirkie, but now Dirkie will have the advantage once again. Sly Pete has Marshall on his inside as he goes into turn number 2. And already some penalties for the front runners. Brandon has a penalty, Robert has a penalty, as well as Stephen. So while the front couple are starting to open up, it was a little kick coming off the curb there for turn 3 for Stephen. Oh, Dirkie into the inside. A great overtake there between himself and Sly Pete. So Dirkie unfortunately on the outside, which allows Sly Pete to move up once again as they headed through the right-hander. So they'll now go out of turn number 7, and Marshall starting to put pressure up on the back of Stephen. So Stephen up into 3rd place, and he started down in 7th, so I'm sure he's really happy with what's happening here. So that is Maljacques going to have a look to the inside down to the last corner between himself and Dirkie. But it looks like Jacques having an extremely tight line on the inside. So that would have affected his exit speed. But now Marshall on the back of Sly Pete. Marshall now takes that inside line into turn 1. Little lock up of the brakes. And Marshall allows Stephen to go through a Sly Pete down into a 5th place. So I see Taryn has joined us. Taryn, Pete was doing extremely well. He had a little bit of an off there, but here he is starting to fight his way back up into 5th place. But it's going to be the battle between Stephen, Marshall, and Peter. With Jake's in the background there, you can see he's now in 8th place, and he's going to have Jacques in that BMW putting a lot of pressure on him. But Dirkie, currently the quickest of the forwards, in 6th place. So there goes Andrew Horn, the race leader, with Brandon DeSantos in 2nd place. Then it is Stephen, Marshall, Sly Pete, Dirkie, Jakes, Maljak, Robert, Gerard, and why is that doing that? And Ashley down in 11th position. So Stephen getting a run on, or that's Sly Pete getting a run on Marshall. A little look to the inside. Pete decides not to keep the car there, while that's Brandon running himself a little bit wide. So you can see, Brandon looked like he was able to get away with it. So both Pete and Marshall are wide there into turn number 3. You can see Dirkie taking a much tighter line on the inside there, and Jake's right behind him. And Robert is having an almighty battle there with Maljak. You can see Maljak now down into 8th place, Robert in 9th, and then Gerard just not finding that pace. You can see 146 for him, so he's definitely not feeling comfortable with this Ford. So we've had 6 minutes have passed, and it is still extremely close in the midsection here. Because that is Marshall, Pete, then Dirkie. Then it is Jakes. As you can see the exit speed of the Ford. But now that's Pete. He got himself right up on the inside of Marshall as they exit out of turn number 10. But now he should have the inside line here into 1. But once again, Pete decides just to let Marshall go through, not wanting to attack there. And the 2 Fords are once again strong on those brakes and close up the gap once again. That's a Marshall wide, taking a bit of dirt with him. You can see the different elevation in the pothole there. Pete to the inside of Marshall, an absolutely fantastic move there. Now Marshall's going to have both Dirkie and Jakes right behind him. And I'm sure we're going to see those two starting to close up on him as they come through these next couple of corners, through turns 5, 6, then around the crown lift carousel. This long right-hander. You can see Dirkie up on the inside of Marshall, and he's been able to force that move. But now Marshall will just have a little show there for turn number 8. Marshall must just be patient because he's going to have the straight line speed. So Dirkie in that Ford is now up into 4th place. Now it's the straight line speed now of the BMW. Will Marshall be able to close up on Dirkie? So far you can see that he'll be on the inside now. So Marshall being able to take that place back, and Dirkie loses it on the brakes, and that's going to drop him all the way down the field, which now promotes Jake's up. There goes Jacques. So Jacques is now up. He was down in 8th place, and now he's in 4th. And Steven sneaking through on the inside of Jake. So Jake's down into 7th place. And here comes Robert. A little look on the inside. He has a show, but doesn't commit to the move. Ooh. That was Jake's nearly taking the front off of Robert's car as he went into turn number 6. And Robert just hit the brakes and allowed Jakes to go past. But here we go, the two Fords up front, the two BMWs ahead of Jakes is going to start pulling away from him, and that will get him further down. And we can see Gerard still in a 10th place, 134.0. So he is starting to find that pace and get that rhythm. And Dirkie, who was pushing up at the top here, he has now dropped himself down into 9th position after that mistake on the brakes into turn number 2. So we're just about halfway, and Andrew Horn has been a very quiet 132.4. So currently looking at these times, we have Peter Brunt, who was in the Bravo tier, has currently been setting the fastest time of the evening so far. So we are halfway through this race as Jakes makes a little mistake into the hairpin. Turn number 4. And Amal Jacques in 5th place. He has Stephen behind him in 6th. Stephen, Jakes, Robert, Ashley and Brandon. All 5 of those drivers do have a slowdown penalty that they will need to be serving. So that time will be added to the end of the time. And we did see what those time penalties did to the end of the previous results. So thank you for that, Tyler. That was Brandon had 1 second. There were some 2 seconds there for that is Stephen, Jakes and Robert, and 9 seconds for Ashley down in 11th position. So that is Brandon DeSantos, and he's starting to get lots and lots of pressure now by Sly Pete. On the brakes, you see Brandon just a lock up there as he got into the brakes there into turn number 2. Very wide exit there for Pete, but that's allowed him to get a good exit, lots of straight line speed. It's now just being patient, setting up the move here for the hairpin, but are not close enough. What he should have done is, as Brandon outbrakes himself, that should allow Pete to go up onto the inside, but now he will be on the outside for turn number 5. Oh, kick off the curb there for Brandon. So Pete still not able to take advantage of that. And now through turn number 7, Pete is just going to need to just be patient, just bide his time, and rather look for that opportunity. Now on the brakes, turn in a late entry and then get that power down as soon as possible to get the drive down the Dunlop straight and jump on the inside here. Not close enough just yet. Brandon just struggling to get that power on the exit. You see Brandon moving offline there, going defensive to the inside, which means Pete will have to go around the outside through turn number 1. So Brandon doing everything right, putting the car in the correct positions. So 7 minutes are left, and we jump down to the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and a 7th place there for Stephen. And it is Marshall having a absolute crack of a race, fighting ahead of this battle here, with Moljak moving himself up the field. You can see that Marshall just didn't get that car to rotate the way he would have wanted to as he came out of the exit, and Moljak is not making it easy for Marshall at all, sticking right behind him. And Jake's now in the Ford, starting to have a little touch, and I think that's so Jake's has been disturbed, so that might allow Steven to go around the outside of him. So he should have the straight line speed and a little move. Jake's trying to sneak on the inside, and unfortunately that pushed him up on the curb, and unfortunately once again needing to fight himself and get up the order behind a Ford, behind the BMWs. So back to the battle for second and third, and Pete trying to go around the outside once again. But Brandon driving an extremely defensive race and getting the car exactly where it needs to be. But you can see a lock up and an understeer. We're going into the corner. He wasn't able to get that power on, get the drive out of the corner, which allows Pete to stay right behind him.
Seems we lost Ashley, Dylan.
Silo, you're correct. I didn't even notice that. I was just watching the action so intently, and I've just seen in the background that Jakes has moved himself up into 5th place. So he's managed to find a way through. And Steven and Jacques now are side by side through turn number 6. So now through... Ooh! Like Jacques just miscalculated that braking point and went a little bit too deep into turn number 7. And Jakes is now right up on the rear of Marshall in 4th place. And as I say that, I see Jakes is dropping down, so he was there. So we've somehow lost Jakes. There he is. So I think he hit the curb on that exit of turn number 9, and that threw him off the track. And while he was fighting there for 4th place, he's now down into 9th place with 4 minutes left of this heat. One more heat to go. Remember, a reverse grid. The top 6 will change positions, and 6th place will start and lead the guys off on that formation lap. So 3.5 minutes left, and Andrew Horn, absolute first class drive there for him. 6 seconds ahead of Brandon DeSantos, but it is Brandon who's currently feeling the pressure now. Pete is right behind him and has been for the last 6 laps or so. But I must say, Brandon is driving an extremely amazing race, getting the car in all the right places and not making it very easy for Peter to get around him. So Brandon only has a 1 second penalty, which unfortunately is not enough that Pete can stay there, because that's where Pete has been. Steven, 3 seconds for him. Dirkie, 5 seconds. Robert, 2 seconds. Jakes, 2 seconds. And Gerard, 3 seconds penalties there for him. So through turn number 3, and Peter still not able to find a way around Brandon. He'll have a little show into pothole, into the hairpin at turn number 4. So Brandon's a little bit deep, but he is still ahead, and Pete still trying to find a way through turn number 5. Now they'll go through turn number 6. then this long right-hander. Is there a way for Peter to get around? Not yet.
And Dylan, I see Sly Pete. He managed to get into 1 minute 31s.
So well spotted, I did miss that. Whoa, that's extremely close there. But you can still see that Brandon, even though he went a little bit wider, you are able to get a much quicker line down the outside. So that has allowed him to stay ahead of Pete as they're going to turn number 1. And through turn number 2, looks like Peter's been able to get the drive. He's going to be on the inside now as they head towards the pothole. A little squeeze between the two, but Pete has now been able to get himself ahead. And I think what will happen is that Pete will just start pulling a gap. And we can see that gap starting to open up between Pete and Brandon. Stephen in 4th place, but he has Marshall right behind him. With Stephen and that time penalty is that he might be losing some places to not only Marshall, but to Amal Jacques as well, who's in 6th place. So just over 2 seconds between Stephen and Amal Jacques. So that is the end of the race, and an absolute fantastic drive there for Andrew Horn, his first win here in the Alpha tier. So that is Andrew Horn in 1st place. Sly Pete will come home in 2nd. Brandon Dos Santos in 3rd. Stephen will cross the line in 4th, but now it all depends where Marshall goes. And there we go. Those time penalties, unfortunately, not serving Stephen well at all, even though he crossed the line in 4th place. That is Marshall in 4th and Amal Jacques in 5th place. So there is the final positions with Andrew Horn taking that win. Just want to get down to that replay. Brandon Sly Pete in 2nd place with Brandon Dos Santos in 3rd. Then it is Marshall, Maljak, Stephen, Dirkie, Robert, Jakes, Gerard, and then Ashley retiring.
Must take the qualifying off, eh?
Yeah.
So while the guys in the lobby are just getting the settings ready for that next race, just capturing those points just so we can see who essentially wins the evening, because remember the top 5 drivers of tonight will be promoted or demoted. I'm not too sure which. I'm sure the guys will say demoted into the Ford for the next race. And for those of you who want to know where the next race is in our vintage touring cars on a Monday night, that will be around number 5, and we head to the Snetterton 300. So again, a track that has some long straights but some twisty sections on the inside, and the BMWs should be quite a interesting combination there to try and take on the Fords, but I just don't think that the Fords will be able to compete as readily as they are currently doing here. So to the guys in the lobby, just remember that starting in a pole position will be Steven. Second place is Maljacques. Third place is Marshall. Fourth place is Brandon. Fifth place is Pete and Andrew Horn, the Horn Dog, the Hot Dog, in sixth place. Then it is Dirkie, Robert, Jake's 9th, Gerard 10th, and Ashley in 11th position. So just waiting for some more thumbs up, guys, and we will be heading to the second heat for the Alpha tier this evening. And I'm just capturing some of the results from the first heat so we know who the top 3 drivers are for the evening, as well as just understand who the top 5 are who will be going into the Ford for next week at the Snetterton 300 track. So the delay that we have in the background is the guys are just sending the invites out because they will be joining in a PlayStation chat party, just so that the leader, who will be, well, say the pole sitter, who will be Steven, is able just to communicate to the guys and let them know when they will be racing. So there we go. The guys have readied up, and we will be about a minute away from the racing. So we're just waiting for the sync to happen, and once the sync will happen, you'll see the guys will move over to the left hand side. The fastest guys to get into position, they will move to the right hand side, and it will be Steven who will be taking us as on the parade lap, or the formation lap, to let the guys get into formation, and when he crosses the line, we will be racing. So Tsala, while we wait for the guys to get going, what do you think of this first race?
Oh, sorry, Dana. I think there was some good racing in that first race. Good close racing. The race between Brandon and Sly Pete, and then the guys who was it? Marshall, Jakes,
and Steven.
Steven. Yeah, definitely some good racing.
And just from your experience, this reverse grid, this top 6, do you think that it mixes things up, or do you think that that where you finished should be where you started?
Look, I like the reverse grid. I definitely think it mixes things up, and it does make it a lot more interesting. I think for the guys watching as well, it makes it interesting. So it just keeps the field a lot tighter, I feel. It's just to get through those first 1 or 2 laps, because we always say it's only the first and second corner, but it's normally with a reverse grid a lap or 2 until it sort of settles down.
So we did see that in the Bravo tier for that second heat, is that we had Stefan who led the guys away, but it should actually, well, I don't remember who it was now, but he would have been further down the order, and it would have actually been Christo that should have started him off.
Yeah, it seemed there was a bit of confusion there. Some of the guys don't want to join the chat body that gets opened up, and then obviously we can't communicate with them. So there was some guys out of position and you can't communicate with them, so it's more one of those things. But you guys will have to look at it, because other guys are already saying that there should be penalties and all of that, so I'm sure you'll get all
that's
that.
definitely something we will look into. But now we are currently racing heat number 2 in the Alpha tier, and it looks like Steven got that start to perfection. Malzhak has got himself a little bit closer than Steven would have liked, but then there's a gap to Marshall, Brandon, Sly Pete and the Horn Dog in 6th place. So the guys still very much in a single file as they were when they started the race. So Steven now leads going through turn number 3, and I'm just looking down the list, and it is the Horn Dog who's starting to have a little look on the inside, but it was Durkee who got himself on the outside of Andrew, but now as they now come into turn number 5, a Sly Pete starting to pull away from Andrew Horn, because now he's going to be fighting with the likes of Durkee and Robert down in 7th and 8th place. So we jump back to the leaders, and Malzhak now starting to close up on Steven, who's currently leading this race. Marshall up into 3rd, and Steven using that run off curb, and we saw Jakes having a bit of a jump off there. So Marshall now into a 2nd place. Marshall having started in 4th, and that's Brandon DeSantos getting himself up right behind Malzhak as they cross the line to begin effectively the 2nd lap, but this is lap number 3 because of our rolling start. So Andrew Horn now starting to close up on the back of Sly Pete. Remember, Andrew Horn having won this race. But it is very much a BMW affair out in front, as we see Robert in the background there, just getting it a little bit sideways. Durkee looked to go a little bit deep, and he's going to have Robert on his inside. Jakes is all over the back of him as well. And then we have Gerard dropping in behind Jakes. And right in the back there, that is Ashley. So we can definitely see that the BMWs so far are the quickest around here. We saw Durkee was able to fight earlier on in heat number 1, as Marshall takes that cone with him through turn number 7. Now they'll head through turn 8. And little wide there for Brandon. So there's 1st, 2nd, 3rd is Jacques, and then we have another little battle between Brandon, Sly Pete and the Horn Dog. So Brandon having a little look to the inside. Sorry, that was Sly Pete having a look to the inside on Brandon. So a complete replica of what we saw in the first heat is the battle between Brandon and Peter. And while these guys are fighting, the three in the front are just starting to extend their lead. You can see that 32.9 for Steven, 32.7 for Marshall, and Malshark the fastest so far, 32.4 out of that group. Sly Pete 32.79, the Horn Dog 32.8, and Brandon DeSantos a 33.9. So far, I think that if both Brandon, well, so if Pete and the Horn Dog get ahead of Brandon, is that they will start opening up a gap towards him. So Brandon's a little bit sideways. That's going to impact on his exit speed. Sly Pete is going to have the run on him down the Dunlop straight. Oh, I don't think Brandon knew that he was there. He had turned in, and Sly Pete now down into 5th place, and that allows the Horn Dog to move himself up into 4th. So after the touch between Brandon and Sly Pete, they are still on the track. So now Peter having a little look and a show on the inside of the Horn Dog. So 3 separate battles of 3 cars happening. But it does look like Andrew now starting to close up on the back of Marshall. Marshall 137.5, so he definitely has made a mistake there. And now that's put Malshark up into 2nd place. Steven, he still leads this race, having led from the start. Jakes and Dirkie, they've now traded positions, as well as Gerard and Ashley. So we can just jump back to the leader, and that is Malshark putting extremely large amounts of pressure on Steven. You can see just about, oh, Steven's a little bit wide, lock up there for Jacques, so that would have helped Steven just a little bit. And the Horn Dog now right on the back of Marshall as they cross the line to begin lap number 6. So Sly Pete having a look to the inside into turn number 1 and not close enough. So Andrew trying the outside route, and it looks like he's been able to get that power on. And will he pull Pete through as they head towards the pothole? Oh, that's Marshall and Pete's tangling up, going through the turn number 3. So that is such a quick corner, and I'm not sure that Pete saw Marshall coming up on the inside there. But what that's done is it's now allowed Brandon DeSantos to move up into 5th place. And the Horn Dog in 3rd, he's now being able to open up a gap between himself and the 4th place driver. So that was Jacques going a little bit wide out of turn number 9. Now into turn number 10. Jacques a lock up there once again. So looking at the time penalties currently on track, that's Marshall with 2 seconds, Brandon has 1, Roberts has 2, and Ashley 5. So Andrew Horn going 0.3 of a second faster than our race leader Steven. In shot is Marshall. He's down in 4th place with Brandon just behind him. And at this rate, Tyler, it looks like Andrew Horn, he's going to join this battle for 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, that does look that way. And Sly Pete was fastest on track again with a 31.9. So in both races, the only one that's been able to get into the 31s so far.
Yep, that's pretty interesting. So if Peter Brunt, if you're watching this, you should be racing here with the Alpha tiers. So I'll be interested to see what the lap times are of these 3 out in front. But definitely Andrew Horn is closing up on the back of Jacques in 2nd place. So we'll watch as they cross the start finish line. 136.7, 134.6 and a 132.9. And time penalties being served for both Steven and Maljacques. Andrew Horn currently in 3rd. No penalties there for him. See Marshall really attacking that inside curb. Now back to Andrew Horn in 3rd place, going through the hairpin. That is turn number 4. Little kick of the cone there. So Steven through turn 5, followed by Jacques, and there's Andrew Horn now right on the back of the 2nd place driver. Seven and a half minutes to go of this race, and it has been action. You can see Jacques just tapping that front brake just to get the car slowed down, then taps it once again to get the nose to dip, to transfer the grip into the front wheels and allow the car to turn. So Marshall in 4th place has both Brandon and Sly Pete on his way back up the order. And once again, Sly Pete having to fight his way past Brandon. So there was that was I think Marshall losing it on the brakes and unfortunately touching up against Brandon. So that is going to allow Sly P to go through. And Andrew Horn are now right on the back of Jacques. I'm sure he's going to be looking for that opportunity to get past him. Just under 6 minutes left of this race, and it is still anyone's race out in front. Tyler, can you just bring up those time penalties? I just want to see what the advantage that Andrew has. So 2 seconds to Steven and 1 second to Maljacques. So Andrew, where he currently is sitting, that has got him in first place. So side by side out of the last corner, and Andrew not able to get the drive.
And we've got Pete with a drive-through penalty for some reason.
Has he cleared it? Oh, because I see he
serving it now.
He was behind Brandon, and there he is. That's the little yellow ticket showing that he currently is in the pits. So Andrew has got the inside there on. You can see he's just got that place, but he's now out-braked himself. And Jacques is going to be able to come up on the inside, but that is now Andrew up into second place. An absolute crack of a move. I saw the setup there as they come out of turn number 3. So next on the cards is Steven, and with, I'd say, 3 laps left, Andrew could still very much get that place from him. So that is Jake's now up into 5th place after Slight Pete having to go into the pits, but you can see Marshall down at the back. Marshall ahead of him. That's Brandon behind him after the contact into turn number 2. And it did look like that Marshall just lost control momentarily, just leaned up on Brandon. Jake's going defensive, so he should be able to hang on to that position for now, but it's all about now getting that power down. But we know that the BMW will come back at him. And there's once again Jakes needing to concede that place. But still fighting very hard. They are side by side out of turn 2. Jakes tucks in behind Brandon once again through turn number 3. You can see the little pothole there. Now Jakes, will he have an opportunity on the brakes into 3? No, he doesn't. Oh, sorry, into turn 4, he doesn't. And you can see the 3 lead cars out in front. Oh, there's Marshall. That looks like Marshall's on a slowdown, not wanting to take more time there, because now he's dropped down into 6th, which has put Brandon up into 4th and Jakes into 5th place.
And we seem to have lost Ashley again.
That is correct. Steven is wide into the last corner. Jacques has taken a much tighter line. So 2 laps left of this race, and this is the battle for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And very interested to know what sort of time penalty that... Jakes has moved himself up into 4th, so he's gone ahead of Brandon coming out of the last corner. But there go the 2 BMWs once again, will overtake Jakes. So Brandon around the outside. You can see a little kick of the front of the car there. But then the 2 BMWs very hesitant on the power, while Jakes is able to carry that corner speed through there. And Jakes looks like he just needs to keep this car right where he is. Oh! That looked like there was a little kick of the rear of Marshall in the back of Brandon. We can see Marshall just slowing down, allowing Brandon to go past. I don't think that he realized that Brandon would be right on the brakes, and as he hit that braking zone, just nudged Brandon off, which allowed Jakes to go through once again. So this is still the battle for 1st, 2nd and 3rd place. So it is going to come down to the wire, that is for sure. So Steven is wide once again coming out of the last corner, and I think this is going to get Andrew right up behind him. Now he should have just that slight advantage with the slipstream. But we know once these cars get up to 220 kilometers an hour, that slipstream advantage seems to disappear just a little bit. So it looks like Jakes was able to hang on. Whoa, this Brandon DeSantos going a little bit off track there. But he still has Marshall behind him. And Jakes is still in 4th place. So it looks like he's just got to keep it on this track. This is the last lap. Steven's still being hounded by Andrew. So 3 seconds there for Steven. So Mal Jacques will finish possibly, yes, 1.1 second. So he would just need to keep right where he is, and that would put Andrew Horn in first place, Maljak in second, and then Steven. Once again, even though he was right up there, the time penalties will drop him further down the order. So as they cross the line, that is, Steven will finish in first place, but the final result will tell otherwise. So there, Andrew Horn, he is the winner with Maljak in second place. Then Jakes finishes in fourth place, an absolute crack of a result there for Jakes. I'm sure he will be happy with that result. Then a Marshall finishes. Oh, that went by way too quickly. So there we go. Jake's in fourth place. Marshall, he will finish off in fifth. Then Brandon is in sixth place with Gerard in seventh. We then have Sly Pete in 8th place, Dirkie in 9th, and Robert in 10th position. Alright, to the guys in the Discord, can we have Stephen, Pete, Maljak, and Andrew in the Discord, please?
Hello, Dylan.
Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the post-race interviews. Hello, Jacques. I think this is the first time we're actually looking at each other face to face on the Discord, so welcome. So we'll start off with the fourth driver overall. That was Steven. Steven, so many time penalties and dropped you down the order. That was a win for you, as well as what should have been a podium, and didn't quite turn out like that in the end.
No, just pushing too hard, too little practice. Yeah, it's one of those things. Comes to racing, just not concentrating enough.
No, 100%, Stephen. I just hope that you learn from your mistakes, and we see you up on the podium for the next race. Then let's go to you, Sly Pete. Peter Hardeman, thank you for clearing up that between Peter and Pitt. I was very confused there for a second there. But thank you kindly. So third overall for you, but yourself and Brandon DeSantos, an absolute cracker battle for you.
Man, I'll tell you what, he made that car so wide. Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. Such a clean driver. Yeah, that was so good.
Really good to see. Awesome, well done there. And then Maljak, second place for you overall for the evening. fighting extremely hard through the middle. Tough race for you in the beginning, but you did fight your way through and had a great result, as well as now in the second heat. Hello, Jacques.
I think Jacques muted it.
Jacques, can you make word?
Yeah, I must say that.
Oh, there he's caught up by a donkey.
Okay.
No, we can hear you now. Look at that smile. So unfortunately, Jacques, we're not hearing you. So maybe just if you turn your camera off, maybe it will just help with the connection. And then because we do want to hear from you, I said, believe man.
Yeah, I must
Well,
say
he
the
looks
second
happy
heat, I
to
think,
be
was
back
quite a
in the
nice race.
Ford.
When Andrew.
Okay, Jacques, try now because you seem to be gooiing lekker now.
Yeah.
Okay, Jacques, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Okay, there we go. So now we're in sync. Mooi man. Gooi.
And I can hear you guys, but yeah, I think my signal is a bit bad, so
no, it's
I don't want to keep you guys waiting.
It's hundreds. We can hear you now. Gooi.
Yeah, I must say the second heat I enjoyed that. I was sitting like a hyena in third place when I saw that 3-second penalty. So I thought, let me just sit there and wait for the race to finish.
No, it was an absolute great strategy. Bye, Donkey, and it's lekker to see you back up at the top there, Jacques.
Your pleasure, Dylan. Thanks, man. And well done to the other guys.
Let's go to Andrew Horn, the hot dog. Alpha tier back-to-back wins. It's sticking, unfortunately, like mustard on a hot dog.
Oh, it gets worse by the minute here. No, that was on that second heat was amazing. I mean, Stephen and Jacques, just such great guys to race with. Good, clean racing, awesome battle. Obviously, I saw the time penalties pop up and thought, well, I don't have to attack too hard, but it was just so much fun. But I must be honest, I don't think I could have got past Stephen anyway, even if I'd wanted to. He did a flipping good job defending.
No, absolutely fantastic, and really looking forward to seeing what happens when you land up in that Ford for next week. So guys, just remember, Snetterton 300 is next week, Monday's race. And we will just announce the final 5 guys that will go into that, just to double check that we just did a quick calculation now, so we could get you guys in the interview booth. But yes, those will be released for you in the morning. So guys, thank you very much. Absolutely fantastic racing this evening. To all the guys that helped in terms of getting the lobby set up. Dirkie, thank you very much. Tyler, thank you for assisting, as well as to Ashley for your commentary in the first heat. Really awesome to have you. So guys on the stream, thank you so much, and don't forget that the series is brought to you by Thrustmaster. You can catch all our live action this coming Thursday as well, where we will be racing around Monza in the Porsche Trophy Challenge. That's going to be an absolute cracker as well. So to the guys, thank you very much to the Alpha tier here, the vintage touring car. Great racing, and can't wait to see you guys next week.
Cool, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, everybody. Well done.
Well raced, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers.
Ciao, ciao.
Well done, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Dylan. Cheers.